Never held in 10 years, and these are these three. Very proud of that.
That's it.
Yeah. So,
Well, we're interested to hear what you have to say.
thank you. So, Scott Anderson Agency, commercial insurance, broker of the group, and one thing I want to mention first off, for those of you who haven't sat down and done a one-to-one with me yet, I probably haven't told everyone my history, but I actually started as a claims adjuster 25 years ago. And I was an independent claims adjuster in California. And when I first started, I said, I'll transfer anywhere out of California with snow. And they sent me to Alaska. At first I said no, and then they said, no, we really need you up there. So I said yes, went home, opened up an atlas, and looked out here near Hawaii, and then realized, oh, Alaska's way up here. Because, you know, in the weather maps, it's out here by the island, so I didn't know where I was going. So my mom heard about it. She said, you're going where? And I said, I'm moving to Alaska in 6 months. Freaked her out a little bit. I'm the youngest of three, so she was not happy. But it turned out to be the best move of my life. I met my wife up there on a blind date 6 months after I moved up there. Proposed to her 3 weeks after we met. She freaked out, but let me go for a week and then called me, and we got back together. We've been married now for 22 years, so it's been fantastic. So I have been in the insurance industry now for 25 years. I know I only look 25, but being a business owner is perfect for the hair. What's that?
Nothing, just thermal.
Oh, no, I've been an agent now on the selling side for 10 years after doing claims adjusting for 15. So I do bring a lot of knowledge and background and help with your policies and making sure you're getting the right coverage. One of the things I love talking to people about commercial insurance is I've heard other brokers say, oh, the classification doesn't matter. I can classify you as an IT guy, and Triton's out there selling roofs, and he's only paying $500 a year for his insurance, right?
That would be great.
Not a bad deal. Right? Same thing for his workers' comp. I can say, well, everyone's clerical. Nobody's getting on a roof. So you pay $500 a year for your workers' comp. Wouldn't that be a good deal?
That would be a great deal.
Yeah. What do you suppose would happen if you had an accident or a claim in your business? Not be pretty, exactly. So it'd be very detrimental to his business and his bottom line of what he's making as a roofer and running his business. So classification absolutely matters. But more importantly, your cybersecurity mostly matters. And if you have not talked to Rodney or had him do a cyber analysis for you in your business to make sure you're PCI compliant, make sure your cybersecurity is up to date, you may be hacked. The hackers are going after small businesses. In fact, I was on a webinar the other day, and they're saying now that cyber liability insurance and protection with your computers is as important as having a general liability policy. Now, if you don't know what a general liability policy is, basically it's it's like your homeowner's policy, but for your business, to where if someone walks in your doors and they slip and fall or hurt themselves, or like Justin, I'm going to pick on him today. Nobody minds, do they?
No.
Okay. If Justin's up on a roof and he drops a hammer on someone's head, his general liability is going to pay for that. Or Mark doesn't put in something right and it collapses and falls and all that, so he's covered for general liability. So if you don't have general liability insurance, first of all, absolutely get that. That's #1 priority for running a business. Then you need to get cyber liability insurance. The company I work through for cyber liability insurance is Lloyd's of London. Has anybody ever heard of them?
Yep.
Very big company. They actually insure many dancers, different body parts for people. They insure just about anything. So they have the largest cyber liability policy I'm aware of. I've actually looked at some policies with like Travelers and Hartford and a couple of others. They're okay. They go up to about $50,000 to $100,000. The Lloyd's of London one goes up to $1 million. So if you look at the statistics that Rodney was generous enough to pass out, and I think Noel helped as well, you look at Uber. 57 million people got their information hacked, just on the first page there. Apple, 275,000 people got hacked. Did anybody hear about the Apple iCloud being hacked and the pictures that got released of all the celebrities? No?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever heard of that? Okay. Oh, I did. AT&T, 113,000 clients lost a computer, got hacked, and 114,000 people got hacked. So it's happening. 43% of cyber attacks are targeting small businesses. Okay? I'm pretty sure everyone in this room is a small business. 52% of those are caused by human failure. Rodney, will you tell us what human failure might be in a computer system?
They haven't changed the password in 15 years.
Absolutely.
Bronco 7.
Yeah. Okay, for the record, he didn't just give away my password, I'm just saying. But anybody that goes to a restaurant and they advertise free Wi-Fi, okay, that can be hacked. So when you log into your bank statement to see where your credit card is or your debit card and all that, someone could be grabbing that information right then. So you've got to be aware of where are you doing this, how are you doing it, what's their security that they're putting behind them. So, and you want to, as you're offering free Wi-Fi in your offices, you want to make sure you have Rodney take a look at it and lock it all down, make sure it's secure and taken care of that way. So very important, because any cyber attack could cost you about $200 per client that you have in your database of information to notify them, to pay for their, because you have to pay for their security through like LifeLock or prepaid legal or something like that for a year, possibly 2 years. Okay, so you think you add up all those clients and how much that's going to cost, it's going to be a lot of money. And if you take credit cards, as Rodney alluded to as well in his 60-second, being PCI compliant. Now I know, I just changed credit card companies myself, and they sent me a notice and they said, you have to be PCI compliant. I sent it to Rodney. Rodney, am I PCI compliant with my agency?
You will be by the 31st of December.
Perfect. So I know I'm secure. I know I'm okay. I know my clients are okay. Everything is password protected in our office, but I also wanted to have that extra security blanket, knowing I have Rodney backing me up, knowing I have Lloyd's of London backing me up, because they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon as an insurance company. So just to give you a couple ideas on the coverages that they have $1 million for privacy liability, including employee privacy, privacy regulatory claims coverage, security breach response coverage, multimedia liability coverage, cyber extortion, business income and asset restoration, and PCI DSS assessment coverage. All of those are included in that policy and have $1 million each coverage. So that's important, because obviously it depends on which one you need and which one you're dealing with. But if you're not PCI compliant, it's covered. Now, you do get hacked, you're going to be calling Rodney to come in the back end and fix everything for you. If you have the insurance policy, you're going to be covered by me to have everything taken care of that way. If you don't have it, you're going to be paying all that out of pocket, and that can be very expensive. The thing that I was surprised with was the business interruption coverage. If your business is down because you've been hacked and you can't work for 4 or 5 days, or say a month, depending on how long it takes to get everything resolved, this covers you. Okay, I don't see that on very many other policies, if any. So that's an important coverage as well, because that's also part of your general liability package, should be, is business interruption coverage. I was actually listening to Dave Ramsey yesterday on the radio, and a lady in California, I didn't hear the full conversation, but her insurance policy, her shop is down because the owner of the shop or the building won't repair it to where it needs to be so she can be back up and running. But he's still charging her rent, and her insurance is still covering it, but they're only going to cover it for so long. Well, she has to sit there for another year without any income coming in because she can't work on cars. She's out a lot of money, possibly out of business. And so that's really what I want to stress to you guys, is that cyber attack is real, is happening. As Rodney said one time, the company said, well, we haven't been hacked in 10 years, so we don't care. Well, this wasn't as prevalent 10 years ago. Okay, this is something new, this is coming on board. More and more companies and people are feeling it, and it's happening more and more as we go around. So if you have any questions about cyber liability, have any questions about the policy, I'd be happy to show it to you, sit down one-to-one, kind of give you some more parameters on what it does, how it protects you, all that. So Scott Anderson Agency.